Yeah, we don't want to disturb. What is it? What did you find out there? Is it Bigfoot? Oh my gosh, it's Bigfoot. Look at her. It's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. She's trying to get to Bigfoot. What is it? Who's out there? Oh, like a big rabbit? It's yellow bird. It's a big yellow bird out there. Big bird out there. I just squirrels? Squirrels? Oh my gosh. Bad birds? What about lizards? Crickets? It's getting higher pitch. You don't like it? What? What are you gonna get? What is it? What'd you find? Should I put her down? Let her go? Who's it? Wanna go? Okay. And we take off. You're scared. Good girls. Protecting me. I am protected by my dogs. That was a 14-year-old dachshund without any teeth. That's pretty cool. She is on a mission to protect her mommy. And the other one's 12 and a half. Like, those are no puppies. But they're certainly act like it. Is anyone on?
80 people.
Hi, where's everyone from? Where are we from? Where are you from? Where you guys live? Where are you staying? Where are you locked down at? I am here. We are here in outside of San Antonio, Texas, where everything is bigger in Texas. So I'm told. Where are you guys from?
Glenn said Monica is the GOAT of the 90s for the physique competitions.
Thank you, Glenn.
Ooh, we have Florida. Teresa Ron.
Thank you, thank you. Hey,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. The first time I heard the GOAT terminology, I was like, what is that? And then my dad is third generation West Point graduate. He graduated in 1969. And he used to tell me that he was the GOAT of his class. And so I was trying to put it together like, okay, that meant he graduated the very last person out of grades in 1969 at West Point. He was the last in his class. He graduated with the lowest grades. And they called him the GOAT. So I was trying to think, how does that terminology fit with what people were calling me about in the fitness industry about being the GOAT? I don't know. Something about the late, great, last of the great. I don't know. But thank you, because I understand it's a compliment, so I'll take it.
Do you know what it stands for now?
Isn't it like the first of something or something?
Greatest of all time.
Oh! I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow. That's an honor. So thank you. It's very, very special. I will take that. I will be the GOAT. If that's what it means.
Yep.
So I don't think my dad was, in those terms, the GOAT of the class. However they did it back then, it was just whoever graduated last in the class was the GOAT. So that's fun though. That's fun. So we've got Kansas and Florida.
Yep.
Where else?
We have Austin, Vegas.
Austin.
So they said from Austin, moved to Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
And then Amy Glockner said, hi, Monica.
Hey, when are you joining us again on the lives, girl?
Talk about that really quick.
Talk about the lives. So lives are going on every Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Central, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central. I'm hosting them and coaching them, and I'm doing the workout with you. So I'm doing the workout, and you're doing the workout with me if you join. They're $14.99 a session. It's about an hour long. I have a warm-up session, and then the workout, and then we do core stretching. And like today, I worked on people's posture and had them do some activities that helped them feel their posture better. That's kind of been my go-to thing for the last probably 5 or 6 years, is working on glute activation and posture. And so, yeah, so it's a great little exercise. It's all body weight. There's no equipment needed. It's good for beginners. It's good for advanced. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a beginner, but the workouts are still good for me because they're making me stronger for everything else with my shoulder joints, my hip joints. I'm more flexible, and we've been doing these now for 5 weeks, I think. We'll be doing them the rest of May. They're good for men. 1 fee per household. So if you have 20 people in your house for lockdown, I mean, all 20 of you can join if you have room. Well, you don't even need a lot of room, but you know. So, yeah, so it's a good time. You guys, if you want to join, I'm easy to get a hold of. You can direct message me on any platform. You can send an email to info@monicabrantfit.com, and we'll respond right away and give you how to get signed up.
And then Christine McSweeney said, are there variations for beginners?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So I will show an easier way to do something and a little more advanced. And the main thing is I just want people to keep moving. And this is not necessarily like an entire HIIT workout. There will be some exercises that make you burn a little bit, but burn in all the places that we want to burn. And they'll be strengthening, and I will coach you through every movement of the exercise. And I always tell everyone that's on, it's about quality of the exercise, not quantity. So I promise you, if you do the exercises like I'm coaching and you think about each body part that I'm encouraging you to engage, to hold, it is a full body workout no matter what exercise we're doing. And every workout's different. So there you go.
And say the email one more time.
Oh, email is info@monicabrantfit.com. We'll respond right away. I'm using Zoom technology. And if you don't want to be on camera, you can turn yourself off and just watch. You can just close your camera down and still see. But Tom, I tell you, nobody's paying attention to anything because there's a bunch of people on, and I mute everybody. I'm the only one that's on the main screen. So you can just follow along, and I'll coach you through the entire thing. We'll stop a couple times here or there and take a breather and talk a little bit at the end of the session. I always answer a few questions or talk or give some kind of tip of the day. Encourage you, inspire you, and motivate you. And I'm getting a good workout in too. So.
Or send a DM to official Monica Brant on Instagram or here on the Facebook page, and we can send you more information.
Exactly.
So one that was super fun is Amber Hodges.
Hi, Amber.
Said used to work out with you and Chris Pamphilus
Oh my goodness.
years ago in San Antonio.
Yeah, Club 360. Right off Blanco. That place is so built up, but his area that he had his gym is still there, that building, and so every once in a while I drive by there. I don't get by there a whole lot, but I do drive by there, and lots of great memories for sure. So hi, Pam.
And then Pepsi Rodarte, I hope I'm saying that right, but she said, I've been following you for so many years, still one of my top faves, and you look fantastic.
Thank you. Is your name really Pepsi?
P-E-P-S-I, Pepsi.
That's fun. I love that. It's fun to hear different names. I like that. So thank you so much. I appreciate your support, and it's always fun for me to engage with fans and get to hear people's stories, and maybe it's, something I've done has inspired and motivated you, and it's always a blessing. So I appreciate you sharing.
So she said yes, her name is Pepsi. That is awesome.
It's fun.
And then Jeff L'Italian said, saw an article in Muscle and Fitness years ago. Did you really weigh your broccoli?
Yes, I did. I weighed everything so that I could learn how to measure my food and how much food. I mean, you don't know until you do it, right? I mean, if I was going to measure my chicken and measure my rice, and I measured my broccoli just so I kind of started learning what size proportions look like. Do I measure my broccoli now? No, but I don't really need to either. So, and to be honest, like, it's really hard to ever overeat broccoli, but vegetables. I mean, have you ever gotten one of those big old kind of cartons of organic kind of super power greens or something? Have you ever looked at how many calories are in a whole thing? It's like 20 calories. I mean, something ridiculous. You could eat all of that and still never, so it's not, it was just something as a learning experience for me. And of course, writers, they like to find those little bitty details to make the story more interesting and pull like little details out that maybe someone else wouldn't have thought about. So yes, I did. Thank you. Good question.
That was awesome.
That was probably Muscle and Fitness 1999, I think.
Wow. So once again, type in your questions if you have any for Monica. Type in Ask Away, and then also tell us where you're watching from.
Yes, I am watching the camera from San Antonio, Texas. And my question to you is, where are you right now? And how are you doing? And are you exercising? Are you sleeping well? Are you binge watching anything? Are you reading your Bible? Are you saying your prayers? Because we've done everything here. We've done everything. We binge watched the Tiger Show.
Tiger King?
Tiger King. And I have to say, I believe back in the late 90s or 2000s, somewhere back then, I can't remember exactly, and when I go through all my box of pictures someday, I will find them, but I did an appearance up in Oklahoma, and there was someone that came to the show with a big cat in a cage, and they did this kind of like show where I ended up coming out, and they had the animal there. It was just like an illusion thing, right? And I was the guest performer. I was doing my fitness routine back then. I think it was in the 90s. Anyways, it was kind of when we saw the Tiger King, I'm like, I think I was at, because the next day I went to that location and I held a baby skunk. I got to go into a cougar, cat, in pen, I guess. And I got to hold a baby tiger and, pet the baby tiger. And I held a big albino boa constrictor. Was like, I don't know, 12 feet long or something crazy. And I have all of these Polaroids. Back in the day, I had Polaroids. So they took all these pictures of me, and I was, the celebrity there. And then afterwards, I went and got on the flight to fly home. I was living in LA. And I just remember getting on the plane thinking, I wonder if anyone else on the plane right now has tiger dirt on them. So I can't wait to go through all my pictures someday and find those Polaroids again, because I really think that I was at that location. And looking back, they made such a big deal about him allowing people to pet the tigers and making money on that. But I have, to this day, and we're talking, let's see, that's been probably 20 years. Wow, gosh, almost 20 years. And I just think, I've had a great experience, and I didn't abuse the animal, and the animal wasn't being abused, and I had a wonderful memory from getting to enjoy those animals and feel them and just interact with them, and so can that show probably got made up a little bit bigger than maybe what it was, I don't know, but it was a good experience for me.
So we've had some really good questions come in.
Oh, good.
So one is just a comment that is really fun. It's Sonia Flemming. She said, I met you way back when I was in LA and you inspired me to compete. She's from the Gold Coast, Australia.
Oh, Sonia, thanks for joining in. What time is it there? Is it 15 hours ahead or something like that?
Something like that.
13, 14, 15 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So it's early there.
Yes.
Thank you. How fun.
And then Holland Sphere, I think I said that right, says, what type of workout brings joy to your heart the most right now?
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm still at heart a sprinter, so I haven't been able to get on the track because the track was closed at the high school where I usually run, but it was closed because they were doing construction and they were rebuilding it. They're remodeling it. So that's why it closed down, not because of the lockdown. So I love using my body only and feeling strong and capable and actually being able to sprint for more than 10 feet or meters or however yards or however you want to say, and not injuring anything, feeling confident that I can do that there's a really wonderful feeling that comes from being able to use your body in that form. You don't have, for me, I've been sprinting my whole life basically, so I could go out and sprint right now, maybe not at 100%. Well, I could if I warmed up enough, then I could without pulling anything, but that's not true for a lot of people. A lot of people haven't gone all out, 100% all out in almost their entire adult life, and I think that's pretty sad. So the sprinting brings joy to my heart. That is a great question. I started doing Spartan racing and going over obstacles and all that, and I loved that. I didn't like the distance running so much, And even the sprint Spartan was 4 or 5 miles, which was a lot for me. But I love the obstacles. Then I started training for American Ninja Warrior, and I don't know if you followed a few years ago. I was doing all the Ninja Warrior stuff for about 3 years. And I think I really fell in love with that too, and it had the same feeling for me as sprinting, in the fact that I was on an obstacle, but it was still my body that had to do the work and had to, you know, it's different because you had to learn how to do an obstacle and you had to be strong in it, but it felt good to just have a really strong body and be able to hang from something and maneuver through, you know, things and pull yourself up and do something. And so that was really fun for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, the sprinting is really what I'm very passionate about.
So on that, she had just kind of continued with that question. It is warm out here.
Hot out here, guys.
But she said, Spotlight. What happened with you almost getting into the Olympics with your sprint time? She says, I remember reading about that.
So, you know, that the story got a little off. What happened was I started running for the Masters USATF division. So that Masters for track starts at age 30 and you run in your age bracket. So I was running from the 40s to 44 age group, and I qualified to be invited as the top 8, one of the top 8 women out of the United States to go run at the Olympic trials in a Masters 400 meter event. So it was at the Olympic trials, and I went as an invited athlete. So I ran in this 400 meter race. Again, I went in as a top 8. I went in 5th place out of the country, and I ended up placing 3rd at that race. I ran a 59.76, and I was 42. Wow, yeah, 42. Or it's gonna be 42. So that was what it was. And you know what happened is a lot of people heard Olympic trials, and yes, I was running at the Olympic trials, but it was not for the Olympics. It was for this Masters Invitational event that was held at the Olympic trials, which is a really prestigious thing, getting to, number one, go and race anything at that track. That's a very, it's a very precious place and a lot of memories, and it's for anyone that's involved in track, it's just a really cool place to get to go run. So that's what happened. A lot of people got confused when they, you know, people just don't read things real well sometimes. But thank you for that question, and that was a special event for me because I got back into racing track after 25 years of not racing. From high school to my 40s, I hadn't raced in a competitive anything. So I started racing in track again, and decided in the beginning of 2012, so around January, February, was told that in June there was this race and you could qualify and be invited to this Olympic trials in the 400. And I'll just say it was a really cool story. Someday I'll need to share about it, but I just decided I was gonna do it. And I got to meet, I plugged myself into the right places. I met the coach that lived in California. I met him actually at the airport, kind of funny. But I met him and told him I wanted to run there. And he said, well, how many 400s have you run since you started again? And I said 2. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And he says, well, you have to qualify, and there's a lot of really good competition. And I was like, I understand. So I did. I qualified after a couple months. And by April, I was invited to the event. You had to qualify with running a 64-minute quarter, which is once around the track. And then you qualified, and then whoever was in the top 8 of that group of women out of the Masters track, athletes, they invited to come participate in this event. So
64 seconds, right?
64 seconds was qualification. I went in with a 60 point something.
Wow.
I went in 5th fastest, and I came out 3rd with the 59.76. And I keep telling myself, if I had been able to keep racing after that, and I was involved with other things at the time too, so it wasn't like that was all I did. Then that year I got married. So that's what happened. So I did that. I was married. I was brand new married. I did that, and then I sold my house. I had to move, and it was like restarting everything. So I didn't get to pursue track to the fullest extent until the next year. And anyways, but I would have loved to see where I could have brought that time down. But maybe I'll get back into it because it still tugs at me. And I still run at the track and practice all my drills. So I can talk about track forever.
So, really fun one. Just a quick one. In your opinion, who had the best physique, Arnold or Ronnie?
Oh wow. You know, you could never compare them because I think Ronnie, I mean, they both have an amazing physique, but there's so many years in between and such a different look and availability to get that look. So when I look at some of Ronnie's pictures when he was in his prime and when Arnold was in his prime, I admire both physiques. So I don't know if you put them in the same opportunities at the same timing of life, then it would have been really, really interesting to see, you know, if you could have put Arnold at the same time frame where Ronnie was in and they be able to compete at their best with the same opportunities in every area, then that would have been a really amazing show, like a competition, I guess. I mean, I don't know. When you look at Ronnie's pictures when he was like in his prime on stage, like it's just crazy. But if you see how he trains, and you know, Arnold trained hard too. Like there's no doubt Arnold was super strong. It was just different eras of life and different types of foods and products and you know, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I can't answer that. That's why I've never become a judge. I don't like to judge those kind of things. Everyone wins. Everyone gets an award. Just kidding.
Also, it's 11 a.m. in Australia.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah. We had
What
one
day to
other
you,
one.
darling?
What is it? So I'd actually commented back to Robin, but Robin Armstrong said, "Hi Monica, Robin from Colorado Springs. Used to compete amateur in the 90s and always loved your physique. I'm 50 now and just getting back into shape after quite some time off."
Robin, thank you so much. I'm turning 50 this year, girl, so what tips you got for me? Congratulations on getting involved again and getting yourself back in the condition you want to be in. And I have to just share this in case this makes sense for any of you, but I'm very conscious of the words I choose to use, and I don't like to say I'm out of shape. I like to say I'm out of condition because I'm still happy with my shape. I'm just not in the condition sometimes that I have been in the past and prefer to be in. Am I unhappy with where I'm at now? No, but there are some times in my life where I've been in really great condition between my lungs and my heart, and you know how I felt. That was really special time. So I hope that will be maybe some for you guys that can change those words up, because it makes a difference when you're talking to someone else about it, and you have to be conscious of how you talk to other people about your body. But congratulations, Robin. Come join my live sometime Wednesday night and Saturday morning.
And I commented the email. I do apologize. It came from my personal page instead of your page. But it is the info@monicabrantfit.com. Email will send you information.
Yes.
And then really quick, Erica Torres,
Hi, Eric.
maybe,
Erica.
says, "Hi, I'm in Miami. You are great motivation for me. I've been following you since you started. How often do you lift now?"
Thank you, Erica. Sweet. So let's see. You know, this whole lockdown thing has kind of been different. So we're not going to a gym and all that. We have some dumbbells here in the house, and I have bands, and we got pull-up bar and 5-plate and a step mill. So I can do a lot here. And prior to the lockdown, to be honest, I haven't been to the gym a whole lot. I was going to the track more than anything. But I kind of lost interest in the gym because where we live I wasn't happy with the Gold's Gym in my area, and so I wasn't inspired to go there anymore, and I just quit going there. And then I signed up at Anytime Fitness, and I wasn't really inspired there either. And so I just kind of wasn't really going to the gym a whole lot. I've been at the barn a lot, running sprints on the hills there and doing my own sprint workouts at the track, and then the lockdown hit. So I don't want to be uninspiring, but I just haven't found a gym setting that I honestly felt like home for the last probably almost 2 years that we've lived in this new house. I do hear rumors that they're going to build a brand new Gold's Gym up here the road, which would be really nice probably, but as of right now, I'm doing weights probably 2 or 3 times a week here, and doing these body weight sessions that are awesome, two times a week, and then getting in some outdoor kind of circuit stuff outside while I'm getting a run in. So just trying to make it happen here and get it in as often as I can. Right now I don't have any competitive goals, so I'm just trying to maintain and stay strong and healthy. But I'd like to have another. My dogs are going nuts. Hey, that's enough. Okay. I'd like to have another fitness goal. Doesn't necessarily mean a physique type competition. I don't know what the fitness goal looks like right now, but we'll see when we get back into our normal lifestyle and see what I come up with. How about that?
Nice. So, Christine McSweeney, which we had taken the other question from, I just commented her to the email as well, but she said, I am way out of shape. In my 20s, I was dabbling in powerlifting and bodybuilding. 20 years later and 3 kids, things definitely changed. I've looked up to you since I was in my teens, and now at 42, I'm so glad I tuned in and had a little nostalgia.
Oh, thank you for joining, and I promise you, if you join my live sessions, you will love them. The women that all join, and I'm not saying these aren't for men, but it just happens that women are the ones joining. We have a really great group of women. Everyone's just concentrating on their own thing at their own home, and it's a workout that everybody can do. I promise you. I'm coaching and doing it through the entire thing, so it's a really great way to spend 2 hours a week if you can fit it in. And I promise you, you can go at your own pace. There's no expectations. It's just for you to do something different that utilizes your entire body in a very functional way. It elongates muscles. It strengthens your joints. And I promise you, you'll love it. So you guys have got to check it out.
She said, I am so excited. Will do. We'll be looking for your email for sure. And then one last question before we... Yes.
Is she emailing us or are we emailing her?
She's going to email us. info@monicabrantfit.com.
Okay. Please do, because I don't have a way to get hold of you otherwise. So please email and we'll get you the information. And just come. Just do one, and I promise you, you'll love it.
Yep. And then one last question before we wrap up. Brian Dixie says, Monica, have you ever done any local road races for fun?
No. I don't even know what a road race is.
I think it's where in certain cities they have like the little 5Ks or I want to say, I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but I think stuff like in the community runs.
You know, Brian, I've never done that because I remember I did physique type competitions for 26 years. And then I was racing and sprinting. And when you're a sprinter, you don't run distance. And then I got into Spartan racing, so I was just really focused on that and training for that. And then I was training with the Ninja Warrior stuff. And then I went back to get on physique stage in 2016 in the UK. And while I was doing that, I was still racing and track stuff. So I was on the track like 3 times a week. I was at the gym twice, and I was at the Ninja Warrior training place 3 times a week. So I really never had that kind of, I want to go run distance for fun kind of thing. But I did with that Spartan stuff, and it really was tough for me to get the excitement up to go run any kind of distance for speed. Give me a quarter all day long, or 200 or 100, but anything over that, it's pushing it for me.
Sweet. And one last comment that's kind of fun before we close is very happy to see you still involved in fitness. It was a highlight to meet you in Toronto at Fame back in 2006.
Yes. Actually, and thank you for that comment. But yeah,
Brian Klug, sorry.
I got a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble because of IFBB being so upset with me for going to do an appearance there. But what happened is I brought a lot of athletes down to compete in the Monica Brant Fitness Classic and the Body Rock, where I was hosting my show for 6 years. And one of those competitors that came from Fame came and won the bikini Body Rock bikini show where I was a promoter. She's going to be my next guest on the Monica Brant show this coming week, Alicia Marie. So I wonder if they remember Alicia Marie. But and then I probably 2 months ago or so, I had an interview with Jeffrey Kipple, he and his wife, who ran Fame. So kind of blast from the past. It was a fun event, and I'm still in touch with those people today.
Perfect. And before we close, let's let everybody know about the Monica Brant show.
Yes. So, okay. We started a Monica Brant show. I've got Kona here, who you hear his voice, helping to produce it. It's live on the Monica Brant Facebook page. We're doing Tuesday nights as of now at 7 p.m. Central. I am so excited because I'm rounding up some really amazing guests, from bodybuilders to fitness to kind of I would say maybe the nuts and bolts people that created the fitness industry and the bodybuilding industry. I'm going to have an interview coming up with the man who is in charge of putting the entire Olympia together. I'm going to be bringing in a bunch of people, so I'm really excited. We had an interview last week with Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, Ronnie Coleman. So if you haven't seen it yet, scroll back on my page. You can find the interview there. My goal is to honor the other fitness and bodybuilding legends that have helped build our beloved industry. Some of the powerhouses in the industry, we're going to be honoring them with just finding out what they're doing in their world right now. What do they have coming up? What are they promoting? What are they selling? Mm-hmm. How are they living through this, situation, this lockdown situation? Yep. Would they have any tips to share? Any motivational, inspirational advice? So I'm really excited about this because a lot of these people have been friends to me for a long time. I've been friends with Ronnie Coleman for years. I used to work with him for years. We both won our first Olympia titles the same year, so we kind of go way back. And it was really fun to just kind of connect with him again. So moving forward, this next week is Alicia Marie, who I just mentioned, brought her down from the Fame competition there. And then she has gone on and done extremely well. She became an IFBB pro. She was on tons of magazine covers, made a big name for herself, and now is doing something completely different than fitness. So it'll be fun to talk to her. She's got a great, big, fun personality, and she's a beautiful woman who has some interesting struggles of her own, which we'll be talking about, which you would never know if you just look at her. It just goes to show everyone has something we struggle with, no matter who you are. And then moving from there, we'll come back around and have Mike O'Hearn. Ooh, big old Mike O'Hearn. He'll be on the following week. And then I will have a couple fun guests from there. 4-time Miss Fitness Olympia, Oksana. And then the president of the Olympia is coming on. And after that, I will have to circle back because I've got lots of great guests. Possibly Mr. Dorian Yates, Flex Wheeler. Okay. List goes on and on. So I'm excited about these shows, and I hope you guys will tune in and join in and see what's going on, ask questions, and just support my show where I'm honoring these people that have helped build our industry.
Yes. And for Robin Armstrong, just to let you know, you get reminders from the show. We will be posting the live countdown every Tuesday morning, so just watch the Monica Brant fan page, and you will get the notifications and updates on when the show starts.
That's right. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. All right. And hey, you guys, if there's any specific questions that you're thinking of, if you want to shoot them over to us on that email, info@monicabrantfit.com, or any maybe any personalities that maybe you think would be fun for me to interview, please feel free to use that email and send us your thoughts and suggestions. We take everything and read it, and we'll see what we can do with it. But we appreciate any of that kind of feedback that we get from you. So thank you guys for joining. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. Be blessed. If you want to join our church that we join, it's revyourlife.com, R-E-V, yourlife.com, Rev Your Life. And they have services tonight. They've got them tomorrow. They're on YouTube. They're on their Facebook page. They've got them on Monday night. So it's a non-denominational church. Wonderful, strong messages about building your faith and inspiring you and building your spirit. You got to do something every day to renew your spirit, people. So just remember that. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks for joining.